Hello, thank you for being here and for your interest in research at the high school level. That means a lot to us. There have been several presentations and a lot of focus on pre-K through 4 today. And we find that teachers, students, administrators, guidance counselors, everybody involved with high schools really is dealing with a different animal when it comes to school structures, school constraints, creative ways to support students. So thank you. Our project is based on a grant that we were fortunate to get from the Federal Department of Education. And in previous work that I did with schools, I had done on-site teacher professional development programs where teachers would take the 4 ESL certificate courses we offer at Temple, on-site courses tailored to them, fieldwork tailored to them. And they kept telling me, well, this is all well and good, but we can't implement A, B, and C because of our larger school structure. So when we wrote the proposal for the grant, we decided to incorporate 3 elements. Not only teacher PD for high school teachers, but PD for the administrators and staff. And also a strong focus on parent and family engagement, which is another concern that teachers have typically told me about. They want more strategies and more resources for reaching out to the communities around their schools and for involving the parents. So we're working with 7 high schools right now in the Philadelphia School District, across the district, and each school is supplying us with a 3-person leadership team, which consists of a principal or assistant principal, guidance counselor, and ESL specialist, and a cohort of 6 content teachers. So the 3-person leadership team, as you can see here on the screen, and a cohort of 6 teachers who are content teachers but not already ESL certified. And when we say content, we define that broadly. So for an example, we have a dance teacher in our cohort. We have an art teacher in cohort 2. In addition to the traditional social studies, math, science, ELA. So the role of the leadership team is to basically attend leadership institutes, which is our form of PD workshops. There are a series of these institutes that we're offering to them. And as part of this, they conduct a school-wide needs assessment using IndiStar, which you'll hear about in a little bit. They help us out with data collection at their schools. And they also help us coordinate the parent English classes, which actually Snezana has been incredibly, she's been stellar in helping us run these parent classes. The teachers complete 4 graduate level courses that lead to Pennsylvania's Program Specialist ESL certificate. And we also have an instructional coach that visits these teachers in the classrooms and has one-on-one coaching to supplement and to help them apply the things that they're learning in their classes. They've also helped us a lot with data collection, okay? And as you can see, they have an opportunity to apply for mini grants through us. If they think of additional activities, projects, resources that they would like for their school, they propose them to us and we can help fund them. I mentioned the family engagement piece, which is critical to our effort. We're really working hard to help the schools and the parents work better together to help parents feel welcome in the schools. And the primary way we're doing this is that we're offering ESL classes for all of the parents and any family member in any of the schools that we're working with, actually in our 4 cohort 1 schools right now. So Providence Center is our community partner that's been working with us to help coordinate these efforts. And these classes are going on right now. In terms of the data that is going to be elaborated upon later, we're collecting qualitative and quantitative data. For the qualitative data, we've administered surveys to teachers, administrators, parents, and maybe to students eventually. The parent data is something that you'll hear about later. We have some really interesting information to share. We've observed the teachers, and we're using a particular rubric to see the extent to which they implement strategies learned in the courses. And because the focus of our teacher training is on literacy in the content areas, or in other words, disciplinary literacy, we're giving the students a text-based writing assessment. So we've collected the data that is in red, and available to us next fall will be these quantitative pieces of data. Our leadership coach, the individual who works with our leadership teams, could not be here today, so he recorded this really well thought out video for us. So unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, you won't have the video, but I can at least play the audio for you. So what our leadership team coach is describing is how InduStar works, and he'll explain what InduStar is in a moment too, and how schools have been using it.
My name is Mark Emmerich. I'm the leadership coach working on the grant, and I'm just going to talk very briefly about how I support leadership teams in making changes to the school environment that support ELs. So my role, as was mentioned before, I work with the leadership team, and I come in and kind of help them to assess what's going on in the school and then conceptualize changes that would be beneficial for ELs. To do that, we use a system called InduStar, which is a monitoring system. Within InduStar, there are 39 indicators, which are InduStar's kind of best practice standards, and these are the goals that leadership teams are working toward in their school. And so using these indicators, they go through this process, this assessment process. And that begins with a needs assessment. So they look at the indicator and determine to what level they are meeting that standard. Once they do that, they create a vision for what it looks like when that standard or when that indicator is fully implemented. Then they work backwards and say, well, okay, how do we achieve that vision? And to do that, they create an action plan, which are concrete steps that they can take to achieve that vision. After they've created that action plan, they start to implement it, and InduStar helps them monitor that progress along the way. It keeps track of what percentage of that plan is completed. And then once everything is implemented and they've achieved what they've set out to achieve, they go back and say, okay, is what we achieved here, does that meet the indicator? And are we really achieving what we're supposed to be achieving with this goal and with this initiative? So I have a little bit of an example here that I made up using one of the InduStar indicators. So this indicator is about school community, knowing the legal mandates and the rights that ELs have in schools. And most schools would say this indicator is partially implemented. The implementation is limited. Most ESL teachers know the mandates, rights, and procedures, but a lot of times other staff members don't. So they create a vision, and the vision that this made-up school created is that all staff members know that they're required to accommodate ELs instructionally, and they will know the procedures when an EL is struggling in class. They know what to do. So they created an action plan, which involves a document that teachers will get, as well as a PD and a workshop that will be led by the ESL teacher or the ESL department. And then finally a survey that kind of gives them feedback on whether teachers really got what they're supposed to get out of that PD. So now, say they've implemented this whole plan. Now we go back and we look at the indicator again, and it says the entire school community, including faculty, staff, students, and parents, are well informed about legal mandates. I would say, I don't think we've entirely gotten what we need to here. So some more things need to happen. You know, students and parents weren't involved here, and you haven't accounted for new teachers in terms of having a one-shot kind of professional development. So now we go back and we reassess, and we create something else and move forward in trying to have this indicator, fully implement this indicator. So that's just kind of an overview of the process of what we're doing with InduStar and what the leadership teams are trying to accomplish in their schools. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to that. InduStar has been a unique new tool for us to work with, and we're hoping that the way we work with InduStar can serve as a model for other schools, after the grant is over. Okay.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Megara Mabry. Okay, and my primary role in this project has been overseeing data collection. So, as Mark explained, one of the things the leadership teams are doing is creating these needs assessments. So they were largely informed by parent survey data that was collected during the 2017-2018 school year. So the survey was designed to investigate parents' perception of the school as well as their suggestions for improvement. The surveys were designed and analyzed by the team by our research team at Temple University. And we distributed these surveys in 39 different languages at all 7 of our participating schools. We mailed them home. We gave them out in sheltered ESL classes. Bilingual counselors did a lot of work bringing students down to the office, and they were given to parents at parent nights, back to school nights, and at the adult ESL classes. We had a Chromebook raffle to encourage students to bring them back in. They were entered into a raffle to win a Chromebook. We had 2 raffles at each school, and altogether we were able to collect over 250 surveys in 39 different languages. So we had 4 primary categories of investigation in the survey. So the first was parents' level of involvement in school activities. So we asked questions like, does the school try to get parents like you involved in the school? The second was their degree of contact and comfort with school personnel. So we asked questions like, how do you usually feel when you visit your child's school? The second area of third, was their child's schoolwork. So we were asking how easy or difficult is it for you to get your child to do their homework? And lastly, the child's relationship with peers. And we asked questions about their relationship with peers from similar backgrounds as them and within the larger school community. So does your child do any extracurricular activities at school, such as sports or clubs? And I want to be brief because I'm going to turn now to Leah Sandalos, who's going to discuss the data analysis. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. My primary role in this project is to compile, manage, and analyze the wonderful and interesting data that we are collecting. So far, across 5 high schools, we have analyzed data from 177 parents in 27 different languages. I'll give you some sort of summary statements about the data, and then I'll show you on the next slide specific percentiles or percentages of things that we found. So overall, parent respondents do seem pleased with their child's performance in school, both academically and socially. They are comfortable coming to school, which is a very positive thing. Notably, we did find some mismatch between the frequency with which parents feel their child's school tries to involve them and how important they feel it is to be active in school. So we'll look at these percentages next. Okay, so in terms of contact and involvement with school, we see that 48% of parents indicated that they felt very valued by their child's school. So this is positive in the sense that we have nearly half of the respondents feel very valued, but as moving forward, a goal would be to increase that even more. 28% report that the school often tries to get them involved, but 83% feel it's important to be active. So this is what I was talking about with the slight mismatch there. So we want schools to have the goal of reaching out to parents more so, talking to them, making them feel like the school wants them to be involved. And then 81% feel relaxed when they visit the school, which is great. And most common reasons to visit are teacher conferences or back to school nights. In terms of schoolwork, peers, and homework, we have a few findings. 78% of the respondents reported that their child was doing very well in terms of their schoolwork. 79% report their child was doing well socially, and 67% reported that homework was easy for their child. The most common ways that their children get help with homework is either through the parent respondent or another primary caregiver, and then through the internet is another way. So we'll hand it over.
So hello everybody, my name is Snežana Vujović and I am a school counselor at Abraham Lincoln High School. And I am very happy and very honored to be part of this wonderful group. Since we started in September, it's really been a wonderful experience, very inspirational and very productive. So thank you very much for involving me in this. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit how it looks like in practice, how this research is applied in my daily life. So this is our leadership team. Ms. Corso, we have our ELL coordinator. Mr. Lon is our assistant principal, and I'm a counselor, and my role is parent liaison. We also have 3 bilingual counseling assistants, Ms. Elrob for Arabic, Ms. Travalia for Spanish, and Ms. Huang for Chinese. And we also have 4 ELL teachers, ESOL teachers. In our school, there are 42 different languages, and most spoken ones are Spanish, Arabic, Portuguese, French, Mandarin, and Vietnamese. So this is the hallway in our school. Every counselor has a theory of choice. And actually, position of a counselor in this parent liaison group is very important because in our description of job, we connect students and families with different resources, and we serve as advocates. And my theory of choice is Adlerian psychology and simplified through Dr. Bettner and Dr. Lull's 4 crucial C's. So what does it mean actually in practice? Whenever I look at the behavior and the goals of behavior, I'm looking for 4 things. Connection, do people feel connected? Do they feel capable? Do they feel that they count and matter? And do they have courage? So if this lacks, we are going to see some problems in behavior. For example, just very briefly, if a child doesn't feel connected to school, we can see some attention-seeking behavior and misbehavior. And the last one, if they lose courage, we have some suicidal ideation. So in my daily job, it's very important to keep an eye on these 4 C's. And this concept is really very applicable in my daily work with ELL families. So how do we do that? We strive to empower the parents by connecting them to school and society, to see how important it is for them to be the part of the school and their child's life. We want them to gradually build their skills and to feel capable. Because that happens very frequently when we have new immigrants coming to the country. When they come to the country, they really lose confidence and they don't want to be involved. So we want to show them that they count and they want to develop courage to persevere in the face of adversity. So this is how we celebrated our Culture Fest in school. We decorated the doors. All students took part of that. And how we look at the data from the survey. 72% of parents felt the children feel very welcome or somewhat welcome, and our goal is that everybody feels welcome in school. So in September, we had a training for all staff, creating safe and welcoming schools for immigrant and refugee students. So everybody in our school is trained in that. So we established an ELL ambassador program. It's a very competitive program through applications. Best students applied, so when we get a new student, they greet them, and they meet the parents, and they take them around the schools, and they just tell them what is in front of them in school. And thanks to Temp Life program, we were able to purchase these wonderful flags, 42 flags in our hallway that you already saw. Involvement in school, how do they count? 90% of parents believe that it is very important or somewhat important to be involved in school. And our goal is to have all parents to feel that way. So thanks to Temple Life program and Providence Center, we were able to provide 2 sessions of English classes, so they are still running in our school. And we were able to provide Culture Fest for parents and families. Schoolwork and peers, capable. How do they become capable? Almost 80% of parents reported their children were doing excellent or very well at school. English learners are part of our college-going culture. So what do we do for them? We offer education works, tutoring. We are also very active with Temple Let's Get Ready, SAT prep, college and career school visits and trips. And for them, we offered FAFSA workshops for parents and students. We participated in Community College Express Enrollment Day. We have a new power leadership group for students who are immigrant and first generation, but they are going to accept other students. These are only girls, and this is like a bridge between ELL and regular and other students. And the seal of biliteracy, this is a new district program where bilateral students are getting an award for being bilateral in English and their native language or other language. So at the end, we have our progress monitoring, reassessment. This is how we developed courage in the parents, because we are going to continually monitor their satisfaction with school. We advocate for parents in case that they need help. We encourage them to voice their opinion in a safe and welcoming environment. And this is how we do that, through Connect, Capable, Count, and Courage. This is the key, and we are very thankful for Temple program that gave us this opportunity.